Good? All right. Well, hey, obviously great to see you guys, and just a fantastic time of year for basketball, college basketball around the country. Scrimmages getting going and exhibition games getting ready to start. So this time of year is a very exciting time for coaches, players, and in terms of college basketball. So just ready to take the next step. This has been, I said this earlier when we started our first practice, really love this team, love this coaching staff. It's been a great team to coach. Summer preseason training camp has been really good, so just excited to take the next step right now, and so looking forward to that. As far as staff goes, just real quickly, we have some new staff on here. IJ Poole, new assistant coach. He came here from Providence. Mike Perry, who you guys know very well, former coach here. He is on staff now with us. We have a new sports performance coach, Colton Susan, who came from Southern Illinois. And we have a couple new staff members, Colin Donahue here from Nevada and Rob Lewis here from Florida State. So really excited about this staff and this team, as I've said many times. Just like to reiterate before we start that I think I just want to give a ton of credit to this coaching staff and what they did this spring in terms of how detailed and meticulous they were through navigating this new college basketball process of recruiting and the portal and all the things that come with that. But all of our coaching staff, I just commend them in terms of what they did to put this group together, this group of guys, this group of personalities, which I think really fits ECU very well. And then most importantly, this group of players, these guys, whether it's returning guys, the guys that you guys know well, or some of the new players that have come in from other schools, just so much credit to those guys for what they've done to come together, to embrace each other, to work the way we do, to work, to pick up our culture, pick up our system on and off the court. And that's why, again, I say I love this team, but these players and these coaches have been fantastic from June to now in terms of getting ready to take the next step. So excited about that.
All right, guys, questions? Coach, just a few weeks of practice, obviously, but what have you liked in the team and what areas you want to see it continue to grow?
Yeah, I think there's obviously so many areas we can always continue to grow, but I love this team's competitive intensity every day. And I can tell you, Stephen, I go back to June 2nd when they got here to campus, and we started a little bit later, and then we had our practices throughout the summer as we got ready to go to the Bahamas. Then we took a little break, and we came back. But this team every day has come within a competitive intensity and energy, and that's probably been as good as anything. In terms of areas we can continue to improve, again, we know we're sitting here in mid-October. You guys know we want to hang our hat on defense, and we have to continue to build that to be able to have all our schemes in and have everybody on the same page and get everything the way we want it. So that's not going to stop, whether it's now all the way through March, but love the way this team comes in ready to work every single day.
How far, Coach, is the new normal where you get new guys in and losing guys every year and that kind of thing and meshing everybody together? Because it basically is the new normal. That's how it's going to be every year, right? Yeah,
Brian, I think I said this to you when we spoke earlier when we had our first practice, is that we're going to embrace it here. And, it's a great thing because we love the players we have that have been returning, and we wanted them to return, the guys that came back. And then we had an opportunity to get 6 new players, 4 transfers, 2 junior college players, and then 3 freshmen. So 9 new players come onto the roster because of some of that turnover. And again, I go back to what we talked about with this coaching staff and what they did in the spring with recruiting those guys and evaluating and finding the right personalities for ECU, that we don't have that if the climate isn't what it is right now. And those 9 guys, love every one of them, love the way they've meshed with the 6, with the returning guys. And so that being said, I don't think it's hard. I just think it is the new normal, and you embrace it, and we're excited about it, and we go year from year from that.
How are the new guys buying into the program so far?
Great. Really have, honestly, and that's not coach speak. They've come in with that mindset that they understand. You guys have probably seen One ECU. We've put that out there on our social media, and because it doesn't matter where guys came from. It doesn't make a difference where a coach came from, where a player transferred in from, or if you were here last year. We're One ECU right now, and I think these new guys that have come in, those 9 new guys have really bought in, especially some of the transfers and older guys that, as you would expect to be, they have different experiences. They've been coached by other great coaches at other good programs. They've had experiences, but they've come in and put 2 feet in to the way we do things here. And, one of the great things about it is, and we talked about it, nobody has talked about where they came from. what school they came from, where they were, and that's something that I think is really good because everyone's vested in moving forward.
You talked about defense and competitiveness. When you do navigate the transfer portal, is there any specific trait you kind of look for in players?
Yeah, that's a great question because it is hard because, traditional recruiting is you're out, you're in the gyms watching them, you're in practice watching them. You get a chance to really interact with them sometimes right after a practice maybe, or you get to, so it's totally different now because all of the evaluation in terms of not the junior college, but the portal becomes Synergy, which is the film-based system where all coaches around the country are watching film. And if you have, maybe you played against a player like we did Jordan Riley, which was very unique. We played against him twice. But you're trying to evaluate that competitiveness and defensive mindset on film as much as you can. But to be quite honest, what you're also doing is you're talking to coaches all the time. You're really digging in. And again, this coaching staff did such a great job going back, not just the coaches they just played for, but going back to their high school coaches, their AAU coaches, people that just may have been around them, trainers, people that just know these players well that transferred in, to find out what's their competitive spirit, what's their competitive stamina, their ability to continue to do that and play with that kind of edge that we hope we have here at ECU. And it is definitely different. It's a great question, and you just have to do it different ways, but it really entailed a lot of homework from the coaches doing that.
You mentioned one ECU team. How would you describe Irish culture?
Just work ethic. I think if you guys looked at those 4 words right there, character, competitiveness, work ethic, and humility, that's really what we want our program to be about. Those are our program standards. And everybody that comes into this program, student athlete or coach or staff, those are the 4 kind of values that we really want to evaluate, and the 4 values that we really want to be strong in our program. So, and work ethic and competitiveness and what we do on the court, work ethic and competitiveness of how they are off the court, who they are character-wise as people, and then just humility in general. Just a humble approach to what we're trying to do, very appreciative of what we have here and the opportunity we have to work together here.
Coach, just on last year, there were pretty high expectations with a known group coming back. Is it maybe a good thing this year, like kind of flying under the radar, maybe not as much known?
You know what? I don't know, because it's so hard right now. All these predictions coming out, and the conference media days are going to be, and I think we'll be somewhere in the bottom in terms of probably where we're picked. And but there's so many new faces. There's so many new faces, and in year 1 you saw we were picked dead last, and we finished quite a bit above that. And last year we were picked 5th, and we finished below that. And this year there's so many new faces in this league, and so when you go through that and you're trying to determine who has what, it's almost impossible. And so if we are under the radar, maybe that's because maybe some of our players that have transferred in, or maybe some of our junior college guys or high school guys might not have the same name as some of the other guys. But outside of that, I think you could toss it up and we just see what happens.
Coach, with a lot of new players on the roster this year, how's it been trying to plug in those pieces for the starting 5 you will roll out at the start of the season?
Yeah, I don't even think about it from a starting 5 standpoint because all the new pieces are well equipped to be in that starting 5. This group has come together very well. Again, I've said that many times from day 1, but as we went to the Bahamas, we played 2 games. We started 2 totally different lineups, 5 guys one game, 5 different guys the next game. We had guys playing different positions. Now that has started to kind of funnel a little bit into where I see our rotation being as we move forward over the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, as we get ready. We have 2 scrimmages and we get ready for North Carolina Wesleyan coming in on opening night. So that will start to streamline. But as far as the new guys fitting in and the old guys embracing them, or the new guys embracing the old guys, it has been very cohesive, and and we'll see where that leads us to come November 4th.
Coach, speaking of the new additions, I know you're a big defense guy. Just speak about how much does that help shape up what you want to do with this team defensively?
Yeah, what I think it is with this team is that the length and athleticism on the perimeter is pretty I think it's as good as we've had it since we've been here. That's what I can say. When I think about the addition of Jordan Riley, the addition of Jay Shane Woodard, Travion LeBeau, 3 guys on the perimeter that with RJ, with Cam Hayes, all length, big guards, strong physical guards that have versatility to play and that can guard inside, but really can put some pressure on the ball outside. And then you C.J. Walker coming in. C.J.'s very athletic, and C.J. also gives us a lot of versatility to be able to guard inside and out, change shots. I think at one point when he was in his first year at UCF, when he transferred there from Oregon, I think he led this conference in shot blocking that year, was right up at the top, a couple years ago, not last year, but when they were in the American. So like the length and physicality of the newcomers combined with the guys that are returning. And then you got Sear back there, who is really grown in terms of being someone that can protect that rim.
When you look at those first 2 scrimmages you just mentioned, what exactly do you want to learn from your team before real games start?
Well, how you face up against another Jersey. Because that's what it's right now. We talked about this yesterday. We're basically at the tail end of our training camp right now. Next week, this week I should say, is the last week that we won't be preparing for a game of some kind. Whether it's just a bye week and you have 6-7 days and you play it on the weekend, or you have 3 games in a week. But from here on out, outside of the short Christmas break, we'll be preparing every single week from here through March. So the biggest thing that we want to see as we go into these 2 scrimmages is how preparation, scouting, that's a whole new element that will go into practice right now. We had 1 inter-squad scrimmage already. We'll have another one, but it's totally different when you start talking about personnel, offense, defense, tendencies, trying to execute game plan on both sides of the ball. So that's what we'll see how we do so we can be ready come November 4th.
Coach, with Cam Hayes, he played some point at the end of last year. Do you see him, maybe working some primarily at the pointers as kind of to be determined?
No, I think that he will play a lot of point, and I think he's been playing primarily point this summer and in this training camp so far. Now, he can absolutely slide off the ball, and we can play multiple point guards together, which we've talked about. I really love being able to do that and have a couple pure ball handlers out on the court. Cam has done a really nice job passing. His assist-to-turnover ratio in practice is very high. And I think his mind is as strong as it's ever been, particularly because of some of the challenges he went through last year eligibility-wise in terms of NCAA eligibility because of the transfer and being able to allow it to play mid-season. So he's in a different place. So, yeah, but point guard is definitely a spot that he is playing a lot of the minutes, along with other guys.
Anything else? Obviously, with RJ, he obviously brings it every day, but senior year, did you notice even a different RJ at all to this point in terms of motivation and everything?
Yeah, he really does bring it every day, and that's why he's been so consistent. But yes, we do. And you see something different in him. He knows this is his final year at ECU. And again, it goes back to how he announced he was coming back for his senior year when everyone else was talking about leaving. He talked about being a Pirate for life and loves being at ECU. And so you can see a definite extra sense of determination, a sense of what we want to accomplish as a team in terms of in this conference, in the non-conference, and the success in winning that he wants this program to have in his last year. And you can feel it every day in practice.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.